allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Howard, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Amonitz?
Here.
Mrs. Buckley?
Here.
Dr. Campbell?
Here.
Mrs. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Means?
Here.
Mr. Rose? Mrs. Rule?
Here.
Mr. Spicuzza?
Present.
Mr. Sustich? 7 members present this evening.
Thank you, sir. I need an intent to adopt the agenda for business items.
Second. Or 10?
I need a motion.
Motion.
Yeah.
Second.
Second. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 7-0. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 30th, 2012, and the business meeting of September 18th, 2012.
So moved.
Second?
Seconded.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 7-0. I need to announce executive sessions held September 4th, 2012 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. September 18th, 2012 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. And September 27th, 2012 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information.
So moved.
Staff report. I lost count. Who's doing it? Dr. Stark? Okay.
Good evening. The 2012-2013 school year is less than a month old, and already we have plenty of good news to share with you this evening. 13 members of Hawkeye, the Bethel Park High School online student newspaper, earned 2 gold, 7 silver, and 15 bronze awards from the Pennsylvania School Press Association's newspaper contest. Congratulations to Daniel Telek, Brendan Kale, Adam Larson, Alex Curtis, Aaron Copeland, Tara Williams, Tyler Thomas, Grant Conroy, Austin Smith, Kelly Gastgeb, Julia Kless, Jake Garcia, and Zach Shahan. Congratulations to Bethel Park High School students Dan Snyder, Jared Single, and Haley Lazari, who represented their school very well in the first round of competition on KDKA TV's Hometown High Q Scholastic Quiz program. The Bethel Park team defeated teams from Venango Catholic and Albert Gallatin High School in the first round of competition to advance to the playoffs later this school year. Their victory will be shown on Saturday, September 29th at 11 a.m. on KDKA. If you can't watch it, we suggest you record it because it promises to be an exciting episode. Several of our high school French students did very well on the national French exams, better known as Le Grand Concours 2012. Congratulations to Zachary Enoch, Juliana Leiss, Joshua Como, Chris Harkins, Rebecca Kennedy, Elizabeth Nolan, Ryan Thorson, Kevin Burke, Aubrey Lubin, Divya Ragu, Caroline Wild, Lydia Strickling, Samantha Acker, Mary Hannah Swaney, Lindsay Yost, Jacob Worcester, Dylan Karras, Patrick Nolan, Madison Daudet, Victoria Jakasic, Lauren McLean, Austin Smith, Hannah Lucchiti, Michael Brinker, Harrison Zelt, Brendan Moorhead, Elena Mervos, and Kristen Kohler. The Bethel Park High School German Club presented the Dietrich Award of Academic Excellence to Rachel Dodson. This award is given annually to the school's most outstanding German student in recognition of her academic achievements in 2011-12. Logan Tewitt was also presented with a Certificate of Achievement for being the most outstanding member of the school's chapter of the Delta Epsilon Phi German National Honor Society during 2011-2012. Congratulations to both of these students. Several of our high school students have been selected to participate in the apprenticeship program sponsored by the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. Congratulations to Madeline Carruthers, Jared Single, Krista Colarosa, Sydney Craig, Walter Donnellan, Haley Dowd, Jordan Dunn, Rachel Dunn, Matt Ennis, Mackenzie Happy, Julia Klinger, Shannon Musser, Rebecca Majzinski, Emily Robinson, Nicole Shannon, and Katie Zilkowski. These students now have the opportunity to work on a regular basis with local professionals to further explore career areas of interest. Congratulations to Bethel Park High School sophomore Samantha Smith, who successfully auditioned and has been selected to play the violin in the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association's Honors String Orchestra concert, which will be held in November. The 340 students at Franklin Elementary School recently participated in an international art project called Pinwheels for Peace, which coincided with World Peace Day on September 21st. Each of the students made a paper pinwheel and decorated it to express their feelings about what is going on in the world and in their lives. Art teacher Kristen Ritchie then set up the pinwheels around the school as an art installation to promote world peace. Congratulations to Washington 4th grader Zoe Knight, who grew an 18-pound cabbage over the summer and is the school's entry into the Bonnie Plants cabbage growing contest. Before school ended last summer, she received a cabbage plant from Bethany Bombich, her 3rd grade teacher, and she took it home, planted it, and tended to it to see how large it would grow. Mrs. Bombich has submitted a photo of the cabbage to Bonnie Plants, and if it is deemed the largest cabbage in Pennsylvania, Zoe will receive a $1,000 scholarship. The contest winner will be announced in December. Good luck to Zoe. Bethel Park High School Principal Dr. Zeb Gensanti received the 2012 Joseph Mamana Meritorious Service Award from the Pennsylvania Association of Elementary and Secondary Principals. This award annually recognizes meritorious service to the association, significant contributions to the professional advancement of Pennsylvania principals, and personal attributes of dedication and commitment to education. Congratulations, Dr. J. Bethel Park High School is accepting nominations for its 2012 Great Alumni Hall of Fame. This is the first year for this program, which will honor Bethel Park alumni who have demonstrated outstanding accomplishments either personally or professionally after graduating from Bethel Park High School. Nomination forms are available on the district's website at www.bpsd.org. The deadline to submit a nomination is Wednesday, October 31st. We thank you in advance for taking the time to tell us about great Bethel Park alumni. Thank you, and that concludes our report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Stark. Student government.
Hi, my name's Angela Sanctus. Sydney can't be here tonight, so I am giving the report for student government. Last Saturday was homecoming, and we got a lot of positive feedback. I think everyone really enjoyed it. There was a laser show, which was a surprise, I think, to a lot. And next weekend is Powder Puff. Powder Puff usually kicks off homecoming, but this year it's kicking off senior week, which is kind of a new thing that we're doing in place of having Powder Puff kick off homecoming. So it's kind of a new thing, so I'm not sure how it'll go, but I'm sure it will be fine. And we're just planning everything for the new year, and I think it'll be a really good year. So thank you.
Sounds good. Good luck on the new year. PTA, PTO Council.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Thompson.
My name's Alina Tencio. Together we have the privilege as serving as co-presidents at the Abraham Lincoln PTO. This year the PTO and the PTA Council have taken on a theme of 8 schools in one community. We are all working together to support the students in all of the Bethel Park schools.
It's hard to believe that we are only 1 month into the 2012-13 school year, and that being said, Lincoln is off and running. First of all, we want to thank the board for the great sidewalk work that happened and occurred at Lincoln this year. Not only does it make it safer for students, but also provides just a great look for the school. Things look up to date and well kept. We kicked off the school year with our back to school picnic. Food was available for purchase by Peterland. And we also raffled off an iPad in which we raised $733 through food purchase and raffle ticket sales.
In September 6th was our first PTO meeting of the year. We kicked off our membership drive and we currently have 178 members. We also filled many of our volunteer opportunities, including Book It, room parties, and holiday parties. On September 11th, we had our open house and bake sale, and we raised $569.
And students participated in Black and Orange Day on September 21st, sponsored by the Spirit Day Committee. Students are currently participating in their mini golf outings currently held at Cold Springs. Wrapping up this week are our fall fundraisers of Enjoy coupon books and also Yankee candle sales. Market Day is ongoing and continues to be a successful fundraiser. We are looking forward to our evening spirit nights, How to Read Us, on October 4th and Chick-fil-A on October 11th.
Some of our upcoming fall events will be our fall book fair during the week of October 22nd and Lincoln's annual fall festival, which will be held on October 26th. Our students are also participating in a local service project, and we're really excited about this. We are going to be helping Pittsburgh's Manchester Elementary School, and that's located on the north side. One of our moms, Alicia Gorman, read an article about Manchester, and it had a picture of their library, and most of the bookshelves were empty. And so we decided that we wanted to get involved, and the children at our school will be bringing in donations, which will be used to purchase books to fill the shelves in their school library. We're very fortunate to have a library and to have a librarian in our school to support and encourage our students.
And finally, the PTO will officially be presenting a check to Dr. Stark at our next PTO meeting on October 4th for $10,000 to continue to give our students the most up-to-date technology in their classrooms. As you are well aware, students are surrounded by these methods of learning in their daily life and are eager to see these changes in their classrooms. So we thank you in advance for approving the purchase of this new technology equipment for our school. We are looking forward to another great school year.
In addition to all the updates that we have at Lincoln, we also have some updates for some other schools. From George Washington had their first PTO meeting of the year, and it was very well attended. Lots of new faces, which is always wonderful to see. They had a successful open house last week. Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts were there recruiting for the upcoming young troops. And also Market Day was there to answer questions and to provide samples, as well as Joe Corby was there to pass out free samples, as well as cash and carry options. They also had a gear sale going on at the bake sale, and they made $377 during the hour-and-a-half open house. They're currently holding a Second Chance Bethel Park gear sale and also Joe Corby fundraiser. Additionally, they say that we're also doing our 4th annual Usborne Reach for the Stars readathon. Students will receive pledges for reading for a 2-week period, and the student then is able to use 50% of their pledge money raised to buy books. 25% of the money goes to the classroom teacher to purchase books, and the other 25% goes to PTO funding, which obviously goes back into the school at a variety of activities and events. It's a wonderful program, win-win for all involved, and especially, most importantly, the students. As an additional incentive, if collectively the school reads over 30,000 minutes, Mr. Pearson will then allow them to sit wherever they want in lunch for 1 week, rather than their assigned classroom tables. Upcoming in October, we'll be holding our holiday candy fundraiser sale, as well as Red Ribbon Week for the students at the school. Their Scholastic Book Fair is the week of October 15th and will be held in the library during students' regular scheduled library times. They have new swings, chains, and seats. They were purchased and installed on the playground. They were needed from both general wear and tear as well as vandalism. Also, the second basketball hoop was fixed and replaced due to vandalism.
At New Armstrong, their open house is Thursday the 27th for 5th grade and October 5th for 6th grade. Their fall fundraiser is underway and ends Thursday. Currently at Memorial, they've had a busy few weeks, starting with their Welcome Back Ice Cream Social that had a nice turnout on September 6th. We had a great open house and bake sale. We also had conference sign-ups, reps from the Indian Guides and Indian Princess and Boy Scouts at the open house. The police pals came 2 weeks ago and did our IDs for the students who had signed permission forms turned in. We had about 65 participation in this. Our Spirit Week was a hit, with the kids each day as a theme to spell out Hawks. H was Hat Day, A, Awkward Fashion Day, W was Wacky Hair Day, K was Color. I don't think the spelling teachers were involved. They wore their favorite color from head to toe. Spirit Day, they wore black and orange. Last week, they kicked off their fall fundraiser, which includes a catalog as well as pizza kits from Classico Pizza. At William Penn, they've had a wonderful start to their school year. They already have 107 members of their PTO, and 17 of these include teachers and other staff members. They had their first PTO meeting on Monday night with wonderful attendance. They were very excited about being able to introduce their new principal, Nicole Morris, at both open house and their PTO meeting. Open house was well attended, and the PTO was able to introduce a number of fundraisers at open house to benefit the PTO. They also had representatives from Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Indian Princesses present at open house. They are excited about their upcoming fall festival, which is planned for the first week of October.
I have an update from Ben Franklin. Their open house went well. PTO had a bake sale and raffle that did very well. October's theme is loyalty. The PTO will be purchasing green anti-bullying shirts for the school. They will wear them once a month on theme day and for field trips. Their fall fundraiser profited about $3,300. PTO membership is up from last year, and Officer Regatti came in to make the student IDs as well. Volunteers have been very helpful with those and Picture Day, and the PTO is sending home a monthly calendar with school and PTO items, which has been very well received by families. I also have an update from IMS. Constant Contact and their website has been updated. They're gearing up for the craft show on November 24th, and vendor applications are coming in. Please support IMS PTO at the craft show. Well, thank you so much for your interest in the PTO and the PTAs, and for all that you do and contribute to our schools. And if anybody has any questions?
I would just like to say thank you to you and all of our PTO families out there in advance of all of the work I know you will do this school year for our students. Because of you and our PTO families, many of these activities take place, otherwise they would not, and we truly do appreciate all that you all do. Thank you. Solicitor's report.
Last week we gave you a written report, so we have nothing this evening.
Thank you. We didn't have any committee meetings. Public comments on agenda items only. Agenda items. Anyone have any comments on agenda items this evening? Seeing none, we'll move into business items. Curriculum Committee and Mrs. Buckley.
Thank you, Mrs. Cook. There are 4 items this evening under curriculum. Would any like any held? Hearing none, we'd like to move number 1, approval of curricula. Number 2, the curriculum facilitators for 2012-2013. Number 3, school-sponsored overnight educational activities. And number 4, out-of-district tuition students.
Second.
Items 1 through 4 under Curriculum Committee have been moved by Mrs. Buckley and seconded by Mr. Spacuzza. Any questions or comments on any of these items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 7-0. Personnel Committee and Mrs. Rule.
There are 5 items under the Personnel Committee. Are there any that anyone would like to have held out? If not, I move that we approve 1, approval of substitutes, 2, approval of extra duty responsibility program, 3, change of assignment, 4, appointment of personnel, and 5, approval of the administration tuition reimbursement.
Second.
Items 1 through 5 under Personnel have been moved by Mrs. Rule and seconded by Mr. Amiditz. Any questions or comments on any of these items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 7-0. Facilities and Services Committee, Mr. Amidis, would you take that for me this evening, please?
Yes, I will. We have one item under Facilities and Service Committee this evening. It was a approval of the purchase of a tractor, and there were three state contract vendors that bids came from. I will read the motion, and the Board of Directors approves the administration's recommendation to purchase a four-wheel drive tractor mower for the maintenance department from the PA State contract vendor Vakari Enterprises LLC at a cost of $17,437.01. These funds will come from the general fund account.
Second.
Item 1 under Facilities and Services has been moved by Mr. Amidits and seconded by Mr. Spacuzza. Any questions or comments on this item? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item carries 7-0. Finance Committee, Mr. Spacuzza, would you take that for me this
Certainly,
evening?
Mrs. Cook, thank you. Seeing 4 items under the Finance Committee today, would anyone like to have any of them held out separately? If not, I would like to move the following 4 items. Item number 1 is September 2012 salaries and bills. Item number 2, August 2012 financial report. Item number 3, approval of the purchase of information technology equipment. And number 4, the regional wide area network.
Second.
Items 1 through 4 under Finance Committee have been moved by Mr. Spacuzza and seconded by Mr. Means. Any questions or comments on any of these items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 7-0. Policy Committee, and Mr. Spacuzza again, please.
Yes, this is the second and final reading of, under the Policy Committee, approval of policy item 123.2, sudden cardiac arrest.
I need a second on that item.
Second.
Item 1 under Policy Committee has been moved by Mr. Spacuzza and seconded by Mrs. Buckley. Any questions or comments on this item? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item carries 7-0. Other, Dr. Campbell, would you take other for me this evening, please?
Yes, there are 2 items of business under other. I'd like to move that the board approve item number 1, student agreements, subsection A, resolution agreements for student 00039, student number 004763, student number 000176, student number 000941, student number 351038, student number 001396, and student number 00240, with a resolution and release on subsection B, release and settlement agreement regarding the claims raised by student number 796850, and other item number 2, settlement agreement regarding case number GD124371.
Thank you. I need a second.
Second.
Item 1 and 2 under Other has been moved by Dr. Campbell and seconded by Mr. Spacuzza. Any questions or comments on these items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 7-0. We are now at the portion of public comments. Anything you wish to speak to the board about, you will be limited to 2 minutes. A resident or taxpayer of the district, name, address at the microphone, please.
My name is Lisa Nath. My address is 6818 Kevin Drive, and I live in Bethel Park, obviously. I am a proud parent, a proud community member, and a very proud teacher as well. And I am here this evening to ask you to please carefully, as I'm sure you have been all this time, a little more carefully, consider and look to resolve our contract issues. We are right now on different sides of the table, but we are all on the same side of the table, and that is the children's side. So I'm just respectfully asking you to please stand behind your community and my community and our children and settle our contract, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Tom Adronic, 5460 Glen Hill Drive. Last month, you all felt compelled to address some of the comments I made. You addressed them on the items that served you best. You claimed the issue with the teacher's contract, which is outstanding, was not about money. You all have great planners. You planned for PSERS, you planned for the stimulus, you planned for the new school. But you missed one element. You failed to plan for the teachers. That's what I want you to do now. Why hasn't this been planned for? You planned for everything else. You're in a spending spree right now that drives me crazy. You hired 2 new positions of $102,000 each. How many of you make $102,000? I don't.
Sir, would you please direct your comments to the board, not to the audience? This is your comment time to talk to the board.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. 4 of the Central Edmond people got raises in the past 6 months. You got new lights, you got turf. So where are our priorities? You're costing me money every single day. You raise my taxes for 2 years. You you raise program fees, so now my kids have to pay to join clubs. You cut transportation costs for the kindergartners. My goodness, kindergartners now. That's what you're attacking? I have to pay extra money every week now because you decided to change the transportation program. You also cut several teaching positions, mainly out of retirement. But now my class sizes are bigger for my children because you didn't replace those teachers that retired. In class size, really? No limit? That's an issue at hand? Mrs. Buckley, as a kindergarten teacher, would you want a class size of 60 people? 60 kindergartners? Come on. I can't believe class size is actually on the table as an issue. I can't believe one parent out there would want unlimited class size for their children. Would you? This is unbelievable.
That's 2 minutes, sir.
Oh, basically, show me the money. You've done all this stuff. You're paying attorneys. Let's get this contract taken care of. I'm tired of waiting. Quit spending my money.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrice Buchelai. I live at 823 Boulder Drive. I'm a parent. I am new to the school district. I moved here in June. I came here because the school district has an exceptional reputation. I grew up here. Some years, elementary school, middle school, and brought my kids back here because of the great school district and reputation that it has, not to mention the community as well. And that's why I feel it important for me to be here as well, because I support both people that just spoke today and what they have to say. I think we started off this presentation with a beautiful slideshow about all the wonderful things that the kids are doing in the school district. When I see that, I say thank you, teachers. I appreciate everything that they do. You know, my first experience with Bethel Park School District was my daughter's in 2nd grade. I went to her open house last week and was extremely impressed. Impressed with her classroom teacher who inspired me, who is inspiring my daughter to be thrilled about starting a new school, making a big change, finding new friends. She's loving it. She's loving each day that she comes to school because of her teacher. You know, just, you know, with that said, being at the open house made me come here to say, please consider this contract. Please support these teachers, because I am extremely impressed with what I've seen, and I appreciate everything they do.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patricia Campbell. I'm on Red Barn Court in Bethel Park. I don't know if you know that 37 states don't allow teacher strikes and only 13 do. And Pennsylvania leads the nation in teacher strikes. And with only having one contract have gone in Bethel Park since '75, when it was allowed, only one has been settled without a strike. And so I would have to say Pennsylvania, or Bethel Park leads Pennsylvania in teacher strikes, which pretty much makes them leading the nation. And I think that's a terrible reputation to have. And I'm embarrassed that Bethel Park has that reputation. I think that the reason that this happens is because the board capitulates all of the time. We all know that there is a raise built into the contract regardless. How many other people get that? How many taxpayers get that? Every single time that they go, why do they go on strike? Because they can. They don't lose one dime by going on strike because they have to have 180 days in. If you're a steel worker or a boiler maker, if you go on strike, you lose your money every day you're out. And that helps to make strikes shorter, doesn't it? But teachers don't do that because they can. So they'll just go that 6-week maximum. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of that happening. I'm tired of the board getting blamed. And so the board capitulates every time. And I'm tired of that too. The taxpayers need somebody sticking up for them. We all love teachers. We all think it's a great, we have a great program. We have great teachers that work for us, but they work for the taxpayers. And the taxpayers are not an ever-ending supply of money. And we just don't have it. And they're well paid. And as far as not settling the contracts, I always see the board moving a lot more often than the teachers
Mrs.
union
Campbell,
does.
that's 2 minutes.
Okay. So as a taxpayer, I'd like to have you guys on our side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pam Dobus, 5558 Beverly Court. I've been trying to figure out what it is that you as a school board value, what's important to you. If I look at the business that you conduct, I see some of the things that you value. You value a state-of-the-art high school building, which is fantastic. You value sports with the artificial turf on practice fields, and I just heard about Lincoln sidewalks. You've shown you value your superintendent with a raise. You certainly value technology, like iPads or interactive projectors or smart boards. But I wonder what else it is that you value. Do you value teacher input? If you had, you might not have had so many change orders on the new high school construction. Do you value property values? Don't you think that a resolved labor dispute would help that? Do you value the teacher hater Facebook page? Or do you consider all the thousands of parents with children in the schools who would like to see this negative dispute settled? Do you value our reputation as an outstanding school district? Or is it about bells and whistles, smoke and mirrors? Do you value class size? Do you value the educators who work tirelessly to keep Bethel as one of the top districts in the state? I can tell you they're not feeling the love. It's scary for me to think about the future for Bethel Park when teachers feel devalued. We know what happens to students when they're undervalued. We know the psychology of feeling underappreciated and the repercussions from that. I wonder how long teachers can withstand the feeling of being undervalued. I hope we don't have to wait too much longer. You're the elected caretakers of this school district. Don't let it die like the trees along Church Road from lack of water.
Mrs. Dobus, that's 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tracy Smith, 515 Glenrock Drive. I'm a parent, teacher of the district, and taxpayer. I just don't understand. I have 28 kids in my class. I do a lot of small group teaching. You have to differentiate. I teach reading to 6-year-olds. One of my groups has 9 kids in it. It's very hard. That's not even a small group anymore. It's just amazing to me that classroom size wants to be increased. It's not going to benefit the kids. My kids are not getting, they will not get what they need with more kids in the classroom. And my small groups are not small anymore. And I'd like anybody to try to come in and teach 28 kids how to read. It's very difficult. You have kids coming in that can read. You have kids that come in that can't read. And you have to meet all of their needs. It's the classroom size with no maximum number is unrealistic. And it's a shame. That's all I have to say.
My name's Kim DeBald. I live in 907 Hollyland. I am a proud resident of Bethel. I love it here, and I'm so happy I live here. I have 2 boys, one at Neil Armstrong, one at IMS, and I am a teacher at Lincoln Elementary. I am asking the board to move forward and settle our contract as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Brenda Pacor, 3224 Arapahoe Road. I'd like to address some of the comments made tonight. It's easy to put spin on anything when you only tell one side of the story. Yes, our administrators have received raises. They also took a voluntary pay freeze. We have added administrators. That's also correct. If you look at the overall total and the way administration has been restructured, it's actually a cost savings. Teacher input regarding the high school. I understand there was meetings during the construction phase of the high school. I know that I and other community members were here month after month, week after week, attending the public meetings that were here. Saw one teacher, I can tell you who that is, but I won't. Didn't see any public input here in the public meetings. Could have been. Teachers are devalued. I don't think that's true. I understand how they may feel that way because you're not giving them all that they ask for. 2 years ago, the teachers walked out on all 4,000 students of Bethel Park for 6 weeks. How valued do you think the students felt doing that? I personally have been a parent volunteer for years and years and years in the school, and I have many times at this very microphone come here to support programs and things that not only benefited the students, but I think benefited the staff of our district. And I sure didn't feel very valued by them when they walked out on my child for 6 weeks. Regarding class size, again, that's one you can spin because nobody wants to hear about not getting raises.
That's 2 minutes.
Okay. I would ask people to read the contract regarding the current contract that's being worked under regarding class size. There are limits and there are stipends to pay teachers when they are giving students over that limit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ann DeBortoli, Ashland Drive, Bethel Park. Although I certainly feel that none of you need to be defended by me, I'm going to defend you tonight. I think that you do consider all aspects of the district, and the district isn't solely composed of teacher salaries, although certainly the education of students is the #1 priority. There are other things that have to be looked at. I have come to 2 board meetings, 3 board meetings a month since the high school construction, and I don't always agree with the things that you're buying. But I know that you have carefully considered the things that you are buying. And I don't think that you enter into these agreements without any regard to your responsibilities to pay the employees. I don't think you say, we'll buy it and the employees be damned. I also agree with the previous speaker that we've had school boards in the past that just capitulated, which is why we find ourselves in the position we're in today without the money to make the demands of the members of the Federation of Teachers. I do think it's good that you have decided not to negotiate in public. I also feel that you spend many, many hours in this negotiating process. I don't think that any of you sitting here care less about solving this dispute than any of the other people sitting here. I also agree with the people that say we've had it. We can't afford a lot more money or any more money in this district. So it always takes
2 minutes.
two sides to make an agreement, and I hope that in your negotiations you are experiencing that both sides are willing to give and take a little bit, and I commend you for the work you have done. I thank you for the work you have done, and I say to you, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Todd Richard, 4315 Anna Street. Last thing in the world I want to do is get up and speak at this meeting. But quite frankly, I hate getting bashed by residents who don't understand everything that's going on. When it comes to the contract, there are more than just salaries and benefits. All right, there's a lot more. When I started teaching, my wages were extremely low, and I knew my benefits were a part of my compensation. Most of the teachers know that. Going through our salary schedule, if you look at it, the averages that are put out there are misleading because there's nobody in the district that's making in the mid-50s, and that's where the average is. We wait till the 16th year waiting for that 17th step, and there are people who are planning on that 17th step for that raise. They've planned on it for years waiting to get it, and now you're holding 17 people hostage for waiting for that money for 2 years now, and that's just not fair. But it's not about the money. The big thing I vote no on was this class size. I don't understand how educators, all right, Mrs. Buckley and Mrs. Rose, I don't understand how you can ask for over unlimited class size. It makes no sense. Thank
you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Tim Varley. I live at 2328 Wells Drive. I was not planning on coming up to speak today. I just sort of was listening to the comments. I have two sons who are both students at Lincoln Elementary. I'm very proud of them. And I'm also very proud of my wife, who's a teacher at Washington School. And I do feel that there is a lot of back and forth in the community that is splitting the community. We have residents that own Facebook pages that you have to be a teacher basher to join to read their comments. They talk at soccer games. They talk at fast food restaurants. I grew up in a poor district. I grew up in Still Valley. Not a lot of people there make a lot of money. I'm happy that I make a good living for myself. I live in Bethel Park, and I chose to live in Bethel because of the school district and because it's a well-off community. And somehow Still Valley found a way to settle their teacher's contract before any strikes, before any problems happened. And the only reason teachers do strike is because that's the only voice they have. That's all I have to say, and I hope that we can settle the contract as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Jamie Noel, 5855 Irishtown. I have 4 kids in the district. My oldest
I actually did cyber school for a year and came back into the district this year, and I've been extremely impressed with how well everybody's helped him to adjust, and he loves it, which is amazing. Everybody keeps saying settle, 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 but both sides have to compromise, not just the school board. I can't afford it anymore. I can't afford any more taxes. There's no activity bus. I basically had to change jobs so I can pick my son up so he can play football. I sewed up his equipment. So all this money you guys think the school board is spending on, they're not. I mean, there's no activity bus. I paid money for my son to play football. I had to sew up the practice pants because they're so torn up. But he loves it. He wants to play. The coaches are doing the best they can. But both sides have to compromise. Everybody keeps saying settle, 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 but you can't just give them everything. What does that teach our kids if you just say, oh, you want a brand new Porsche when you turn 16? Sure. Well, you can't afford that. You have to say no. You have to do what's best for everyone. And doing what's best for the children is not going out on strike. And we're hearing rumors that they're going to go out again. And that's not good for my kids. I mean, if they go out on strike again, I may end up pulling all my kids out. I used to teach high school. I can teach them at home if I have to. I prefer to keep them in the school. So, yes, settle, but compromise.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll move into board comments. I think I'm down at Mr. Amidit's end this time.
I just want to say that irregardless of what was said this evening, whether I agreed or disagreed with it, I appreciate seeing the faces in the audience because it is the democratic process, and I wish there was more participation throughout the whole, but from community members throughout. With that said, I just want everybody to know that I have listened to all the comments, and I continue to listen to all the comments, either for or against, and I have listened to that, and as I've done all the time, and I make my decisions after carefully thinking through a lot of things, and with that, just let that know that that's the way I've been conducting myself and will continue to conduct myself.
Thank you. Dr. Campbell.
I'm also very grateful for the opportunity we have to be in a representative republic where all of us can really do this. Your board does hear you. We hear the teachers, we hear the parents, we hear those who don't have students in the school. We value the students, we value quality education, we value the teachers, we value the taxpayers as well. And it's a matter of sometimes coming up with a comfortable balance. I hear the teachers, I understand it. My mom and dad were both teachers. My sister and my brother were teachers. I have an uncle who is a brother-in-law who is a superintendent. I get it. I really do get it. But it's a matter of weighing and balancing and understanding and come to common terms. I have no doubt whatsoever, the best education you could possibly get in southwestern Pennsylvania, in Bethel Park. I went through the schools. My kids went through the schools here. I wouldn't be doing the job I'm doing today if I didn't value that quality of education. But it's balance, and that's so important. So I strongly encourage you to continue to come. Be an active part of this board. Let us hear what you're saying. As Dave said, we hear balance. There's, both sides of the equation we hear. And there's a lot of common ground as well, but we need to hear that. We need to appreciate that. Typically, in most boards, I have to say we have a core of about maybe 6 or 8 board people who come to, residents of Bethel Park who come to the meetings. That's unfortunate. We need to all be actively more engaged. That's what it is, a representative republic. But I'm encouraged with what I hear. I'm encouraged with what I see. And I think great things can come of this. We just need to continue to work at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Rule.
Well, I feel the same way, and I think that we have to get a balance, and it has to be the taxpayers is what they can afford, because you can't afford to have people leaving the district either. So, because they're the ones that pay your salary. But we're trying to find a compromise, and I think that's what's important. And we value the teachers, and we value our students, but we also represent the community as a whole. And that's the piece that we are hanging on to right now. But we do want to find a happy compromise that everyone can live with and afford to live with. And the other thing is, I want to just say that I did Still Center, we toured the building, and they have rearranged everything because the new director believes that the administration should be more visible. And he certainly has taken a lot of effort to make sure that that school is going to be really something great to attend and have a lot of credibility, and that's where all his goal is. I attended Shasta tonight, which covered teacher evaluations. the new evaluation system is coming into place for 12-13, and the principals are coming in 12-14, and then the non-professional staff will be coming in 12-16. So everybody will be going through these new evaluations. I understand they're very cumbersome. They're very complex. There's been several meetings. They see good and bad, but from what I understand, I guess the good outweighs the, some of the challenges, but it'll be a totally different, highly documented, very more content-related evaluation system, one that we are not used to. And the last thing is I attended my first AIU meeting. I've been busy this one. AIU meeting, and there we addressed the charter schools and some of the issues that the public school system is having with the charter school system. But we all agreed that the charter schools are here to stay, whether we want them or not, and they definitely will be getting more money. So, and we will be getting less. I mean, we already know we were told what some of the new issues will be coming, and they'll be taking more money from the school district. So money is dwindling, and we need to be all aware of that. So,
Thank you. Mrs. Buckley.
Thank you, Mrs. Cook. First of all, I'd like to thank the PTO reps who are here this evening representing all of the PTOs in the district. As the PTO rep for the board, I wanted to make sure that you ladies know that I very much appreciate the time that you put into all that you do, and gentlemen too. We have some men on that board, so thank you for all of that. And also the PTO people who are here this evening. We appreciate your time. As far as some of the comments that were made this evening, being that my name was addressed to them, I would like to respond to those now if I may. Class size, to me, is a very, very, very important issue, one that I certainly will not ignore. But the direct question was made to me about class numbers. I did have a class of 29 children a few years ago. That was before there was any weighting in the district. And yes, that was an issue. I will agree with you. And yes, we were very busy meeting the needs of all of those children. But the news is that we have very hardworking professionals in the district, whether you have a class of 6 or whether you have a class of 29. Is it what we want? No, it is not something that we support. We don't want that. But sometimes that's what has to be. We have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers, and there's just so much money to go around. In my opinion, the compromise needs to be fair, and as has been said before, both sides need to walk. As a building rep years ago, meeting with a brand new principal, and I went in to settle a situation in the building, and the principal was a little tense about it, and I said, no, here's how we do it. There's a line right here in the middle. You walk toward that line, I walk toward that line. We settled the issue. You're not 100% happy, we're not 100% happy. And that's the way we did it, and we worked it out. And if we could get to that point where both sides walk and it's taken care of, then it'll be settled. So yes, I do feel very strongly about class size, and yes, I have had more than the number in my classroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Spacuzza.
Yeah, thank you for starting at the other end.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. I think, as it's been stated by my fellow board members, we see that core group of 6, 8, whatever the number may be, and it's very disappointing to sit on this side of the table and outnumber the people in the audience. I mean, it doesn't give us a lot of hope for what the community's thinking. We don't know what they're thinking. They don't show up. Thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate that. In light of saying that, though, I think that as a board member, I'm not going to negotiate in public. I think that's something that we need to do in the negotiation room. So by making comments like you did tonight, it's very difficult for people to get a good understanding of what class size means, what this means. So I won't touch it, but I think that it's not fair to address a statement like that and then say we don't do this or we don't care about that. Absolutely not true. So please, let's negotiate in the room, not in the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Means.
Yeah, I would like to say that we do indeed value teachers, and we pay tens of millions of dollars in teacher salaries every year. Roughly half of our budget goes to teacher salaries. Bethel Park is not unfair to their teachers. We have comparable salaries to everybody in the area. If you go south here into Washington County, our salaries are actually much higher. The comment was made we're a well-to-do community. That's not really true. Bethel Park has some affluent people, has many working class people. If you look at the average salary in Upper St. Clair or Mount Lebanon, they're higher than us. We just don't have the resources to fork out the same type of money that they do. Class size. I would like to mention something about class size. Bethel Park has opted to have small community grade schools, and I think that's beneficial to everybody in the community. But it does create some problems. If you only have 1 or 2 classes and you add a couple extra kids in, if you have a hard limit on class size, it can entail having to hire a new teacher. If we had 1 grade school with everybody in it and you had 7 classrooms of the same grade, you could mix and match and not have to worry about that. I can assure you nobody's interested in putting and the number is throwing out 60 people in a classroom. We're not interested in putting 40 people in a classroom or 35. But this idea of hitting a hard limit where you have to hire somebody else is something that's, it presents a problem. That's it.
Thank you. It's very difficult to go last. One of the questions was asked, what do we value? We appreciate all that our teachers do. We value all of our employees. Everybody commented and said some of the things that I would say. We don't negotiate in public. We have made a pact that we would not negotiate in public. However, as Mr. Spicuzza said, we had statements made at that microphone that were absolutely false statements. Absolutely false statements. But I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to negotiate in public. I will continue to negotiate. This board will continue to negotiate in good faith. I believe what we place out there are fair offers. I do not believe we are so far away from anything on the table that is not fair to our teachers, to our staff. I believe that compromise is the name of the game in any negotiation. Compromise is the only way you're going to get to an end result in negotiations. It's not capitulation, it is compromise. That's what the term negotiation, I believe, even means. 75% of our budget goes to salary. We're tied into that. We aren't overspending the other portions that we are given to have to control over for turf or for a school building or any of those things. The salary is written into our budget. And I just want to say that this board works tirelessly without compensation, and I want to thank each member of this board because of what they do in this whole entire process for our community, but mostly for our students. With that, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Good night, everyone.
If you could do one thing to help prevent 36,000 deaths, help decrease hospitalizations and the spread of disease, what would it be? Get a flu shot.
Influenza is a serious disease that can lead to hospitalization and sometimes even death. The flu can affect people differently. Even healthy people can get very sick from the flu, spreading the disease throughout the area.
In 2011, the CDC reported that 20% of the U.S. population contracted the flu, with over 200,000 people being admitted to a hospital for flu-related complications. By getting a flu vaccine, you can reduce your chances of getting the flu and the possibility of spreading the flu.
When more people get vaccinated against the flu, it decreases the spread of the disease throughout the area, making your community a safer, healthier place to live. Tri-Community South EMS is offering free flu vaccines to adults in our local communities of Bethel Park, South Park, and Upper St. Clair.
So do one thing this year. Get a flu shot. It can save your life as well as others. For information on flu shots, contact Tri-Community South EMS.
The American Legion. We're a powerful force for the nation. We work relentlessly within our 4 pillars of service, and we succeed. Go to legion.org to find out more about the American Legion's commitment of service to America.